This computer. Hello and welcome. Today is November 7th, and we are here for our weekly Cardano4Climate Monday meeting and sprint planning session. The mission of our community is to make the world work better for all people, animals, and the planet. And the purpose of this meeting right now, here, Monday, is to plan, organize, and prepare for our sprint tasks. And then generally look forward in the C4C calendar and upcoming events and special dates. The moon is nearly full with a lunar eclipse coming up, and it's in Taurus. The current Cardano epoch is 374, and I guess that would be in the Basel era. So 374 in Basel, and Project Catalyst is still in cooldown. Let's see. We can check in and start doing and stating some roles. Nori is not going to be here, so I will take over facilitating for him. I'll also take notes, attendance, and be the timekeeper. We are at about 11 minutes after the hour right now. And I'm also recording, and I'll upload this with the description to YouTube. Cole, how's it going?
Hey, everything's going well. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, just by way of checking in, I'm coming off of a week up in the mountains and feeling fresh and inspired, feeling much more connected to the earth and sort of why we're here for the climate crisis that's going on. I see that SEO Man is coming in. We'll get him to check in. But Cole, tell me by way of check-in, how's it going?
Things are going well. Spent the weekend in Boise, hung out with some friends. That was a lot of fun. Really excited to see what's going on with COP27. That started yesterday. Really big climate conference held in Egypt this year. So I'm really excited to kind of see if there's any Web3 or climate tech talks, and kind of seeing if blockchain will be prominent within the conference as well. That's something I'm really looking forward to.
COP27, yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's basically what we're getting ready for, is the Cardano Summit. And it's basically Cardano Summit, blockchain, and we're trying to introduce them to climate. But for climate stuff, we want to introduce them to blockchain. And
Blockchain,
that's our big thing. Simon, are you just visiting in, or do you want to check in with us?
How are your travels, Simon? It was so great to meet you in person.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we met each other at CNFTCon actually.
Oh, that's so rad.
Yeah, crazy time in Vegas, but it was a lot of fun to meet each other.
It was. Hey guys, I'm a bit sick right now.
Oh no,
cool. Sorry, man.
Still sick.
Yeah, I was just eating and I'm feeling a bit sick. I got COVID, but the worst is over, I think. Yeah. So it's all right.
Cool.
And the trips were great. Yeah, I mean, it was great meeting Cole and really everyone from the Cardano community in America.
Yeah.
And the CNFTCon and Rare Bloom, and meeting. One of the cool things was viewing a demo of SundaeSwap. They have implemented Hydra already, and it takes like a split second to make a transaction. It's amazing.
Wow. That would be great. Yeah, SundaeSwap is sort of taken a little bit of a beating with how slow, with the old style of the scoopers and the queues that you go into. That would be great if they were first to Hydra heads.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have gone in with guys, I lost a bunch of money because of you.
yeah, totally.
It was not a good opener. But they were nice enough. They still showed me the demo, so
yeah.
All right.
Well,
yeah, the last 2 weeks I was in Italy and Spain and France, and we were on a cruise ship.
Oh, no way. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah, it was not, I mean, it's not like super clean or anything, but my dad organized it, and I want to be with my family. And
Sure.
Yeah, also I saw the like all the cruise companies, they're going green now, apparently.
Oh, no way.
Maybe
wow.
This ship is not green, but the next ones will be, hopefully.
That's awesome.
It's interesting. and I know that Cole will talk about this in the future, but going around and visiting with all these things and getting inspired by projects like at conferences and whatnot, the onboarding, like I think if the process was easy enough to say, hey, you know, I work, because people ask, like, hey, what do you do? It's like, well, I work for this innovation fund. Oh, really? That sounds interesting. It's, yeah, blockchain can really kind of get around some of these problems, and we can work on the environmental crisis. And if people show any kind of interest, like I would love to like make that funnel, you know, easy. That's what you're working on, right, Cole?
Yeah, kind of, pretty much, yeah, some stuff like that, kind of for the proposal, or just in general as
Yeah,
well.
just in general, like to get them proposing in Catalyst possibly, but then just to introduce them, and it kind of gets into that education arm. It's just like, hey, look, these are the things that are going on. Or if they're not, like if they have a business that's not keen on those two parts, technology, blockchain, or environmental crisis opportunity, then maybe that's, you know, like those are avenues for like basically the education arm. It's just like, oh, they can be educated on blockchain. This is like, what can blockchain do for me as a cruise ship, you know, person, or at a conference, or etc. Those are the things that I'm kind of looking for.
Yeah, no, yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I feel like, yeah, finding easy ways kind of to connect these different groups to the tech, and like maybe like simpler ways of onboarding, from like creating wallets to
Yeah.
all different types of stuff, sending NFTs to their wallets once we create one. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think a big thing we're going to be doing is going to tons of non-Cardano events and trying to onboard the people in those communities as well. What would be pretty cool.
Right.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There is some by way, well, you know what, let me share my screen and we'll get into sort of guts of the meeting. Okay, and we're back. We are now going to roll into sort of the agenda proper. It's 10:20, 20 past. I will try to finish up at the top of the hour, and there are a few things to go through. And with that in mind, let's go over to our agenda documents. Here is one. Who's all here? So I'm facilitating, administrating, and scribing. Newman and Cole, and
I'm not on the list anymore.
yeah, we got you off the list, just like Irene just got bumped off the list.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Okay, there you are, bud. So we're doing recordings, we're taking notes. I read the script. Announcements, we did check-in. You know what? By way of announcements, I added the Twitter space on Thursday for Cardano, climate neutral Cardano. And so that's one announcement. And then I shared this Miro board, which we are on this day, sprint planning 11/7. I'm going to tag myself there, and we basically want to go over our sprint plan, like what's going to go on in these next 2 weeks, and that has a lot to do with this, which is our DeWork board. These are all the ones that are the tasks or the user stories that are in progress. They're simple enough that I can read them out. A Google form for feedback for onboarding participants. Create videos for new members to be onboarded in a more decentralized way. Simplify the presentation. And those are all with Cole and Simon, or Daniel. And then Nori and I were working on creating an agenda of impact events at Lausanne, and the welcome packet, which we're trying to get coordinated all the people that are going to Lausanne, that will do virtual events or local events. And I've got a cool spreadsheet to share, and I'll do that in a second. and then this welcome packet, which I'm really interested in. Okay. The goals for the last sprint were prepping for the Cardano Summit, which were these lists, and yeah, prepping for. No, I wanted to go here. Yeah, prepping, doing accounting. We didn't really seem to get any accounting tasks in, but that was one of our goals. And then the impact onboarding. Let's talk about the Cardano Summit, and then we'll talk about impact onboarding. With that in mind, where is actually Cole? If you want to just give a brief bit about about the impact onboarding, that might be cool, and I can find my my stuff for the
Yeah,
Cardano Summit.
sure thing. Yeah, so we had our first meetup last week for the impact onboarding. It took place at the Latam Town Hall. It's weekly on Thursdays. And it was in both Spanish and English. Daniel Sampson from Matera and I made a presentation and a welcome packet so that we could help onboard the Latam community into the Cardano4Climate community and just get them introduced to all the different impact-oriented groups within Cardano. We got a lot of really good feedback from the team on how to make it, from the Latin team on how to make it a little bit more fun and a little bit more get people kind of just to follow along a little bit better, make it not as boring because we were doing a slide in Spanish, a slide in English, and it just kind of was a little bit repetitive, especially if mostly they were Portuguese and Spanish speakers. So we're going to be revamping that a bit, creating some videos so that we can onboard people who can't make these events, and then also just kind of cleaning up the welcome packet and then adding some more resources to that as well.
You know, and Simon, if you've got stuff about onboarding, I think, and this is general onboarding. It's not just the impact onboarding, but general onboarding into Catalyst, C4C, environmental issues, blockchain issues. That's correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things about the multilingual, so there's two things, right? There's the multilingual part, that's the language, and then there's the time zone part. So that you don't have to like come to a meeting, but you can kind of meet up with, you can interface without having to attend a meeting in the middle of the night, for instance.
Yeah.
And really, I guess with the language thing, I really like this idea of just like the IKEA instruction manual, like with high visuals, like just like it should be like a comic book, that like just like not so much verbal stuff, but visual stuff. Like it shows like here's a person, here's someone that someone to help the other person to onboard, and just lots of visual. I think that that's by way of advice. I would like to sort of see that. I think that would be a way to make it less boring, maybe make it a little more fun.
I couldn't agree more because a lot of our content was we were kind of reading it off the screen. So I think like in those videos, we're gonna do a lot of like visuals, a lot of just like voiceovers about the concepts and about the ideas, so that it's less of us just like talking on the screen, reading something, and more of a So and then it will also like allow for like you said, someone in the evening who can't join the onboarding session, like they could watch those videos and be onboarded like just as easily as like coming to the session.
Yeah. See, that'd be cool. Yeah. Any ideas on that, Simon?
Yeah, just I think, yeah, I mean, I said that before, but I think the language aspect is or was for a time very overrated. Of course, in this Latin town hall, you gotta speak English, Spanish, but yeah, I think if you can do English, yeah, it's just more cost effective.
As far as just keeping it in English, there's just more cost involved with getting it into foreign language or different languages.
Yeah, it's like it's like a not a low-hanging fruit to go into other languages unless you speak the language already. Like or like if I do it in German, of course, I mean it's fairly easy for me to do, and for others if they speak French or whatever. But or if we have someone at hand who does that,
Yeah.
of course, let's take the opportunity, but not focus too much on it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and it's kind of nice because Daniel does speak Spanish, so and it's so natural for him, so he was like able to switch the presentations and stuff over like that kind of.
Yeah.
But I totally see what you mean.
Yeah, I get it, and I wonder if the like just simplifying, and that's good for English speakers, so it's super simple. It's just A, B, C, real big blocks, high contrast, like super simple, so that it's just easy to understand. So it's not just different languages, it's sort of less verbal, like because verbalness like takes like high cognitive loads, like reading all of this stuff. It's kind of like whiteboard crypto, or like that sketch notes. It's just like there's some visualization, and that might, because then if you're a Spanish speaker with a little bit of English, or you're not freaked out by English, or you're an English speaker and you're wanting to onboard into a German community or LATAM community, that it doesn't require so much verbalness, and that the challenge is to make it super simple and visually. So it's like visual storytelling. Yeah, that could be and that'd just be good advice for these tasks, for building materials for onboarding, even into C4C, into the blockchain. Again, that we've got this like blockchain, education, onboarding into blockchain, and then onboarding into the environmental movement. Okay, cool. Let's move on into getting ready for the summit. Here's the summit website. I do know that they just added.
I think today's the last day to vote. For some summit stuff too.
Where? Okay, vote for awards.
C4C, I think, has for blockchain for good. I think you can vote for C4C. Pretty positive.
I wonder, have I done that? I think I've done that.
I think I have too, but I'm gonna double check as well.
Yeah, I'm not in. Hold on, let me. I'm gonna pause let me just pause the share for a second while I open up my other browser.
I am a human. IZ7M.
Here we go. Wow.
It's pretty cool.
The summit website.
The voting stuff. I didn't see the voting stuff yet.
Ballot aware. Anyway, yeah. Oh, good. I'm not going to share that stuff. I get so freaked out for weird reasons for the for screen sharing. Maybe I'm facilitating and sharing my screen is not exactly. But anyway, yes, voting is important. There are a ton of things in here to vote for. This. Yeah, I noticed. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, it looks like we're going up against our partners, Cardano Shift, Climate Neutral Cardano. Well, one of these folks will be in there. Glenn from Empower, who I don't know. I kind of know Bruno from Empower. Huh. But this is cool. This is a really cool way of voting. But I don't.
So I gotta connect with the Flint wallet. Is that right?
Looks like I can do it with your Roy.
All right. Yeah. Where it says vote for you, it says connect wallet to vote, and there it only shows me the Flint wallet. But maybe if I go to, I
Here,
gotta
sure.
check that out on my own.
Okay, cool. Anyway, one of the things that we're doing for the summit is collecting. So these are all of the local summits. There seem to be 50 of them. They all have a meetup link, which is not really hard. It's just not really easy to find. You have to go to the website. Let me just call out the Cardano Summit really quick. You got to go to the website. Not that one, this one. And
I just made a nice little screen recording to show people how to vote too.
nice.
We can share.
Yeah, if you've got it, to post it in the chat, that would be cool.
I think it doesn't have any of my wallet credentials, hopefully.
So let's see if looks like Taipei, Taiwan has got one. A local event. And let's see if they've got, yeah, it's still coming soon. Santiago. But basically what I did was I went to each one of these meetup links and got their time in so you can see when they're starting. My idea is to, let me format this a little better. So my idea is to find a local climate group and say, hey, look, there's a in Aberdeen, Scotland, if I could find the Aberdeen, litter picker uppers or animal welfare group or carbon or political action or the Green Party of Scotland, for instance, and say, hey, look, there's a blockchain local event happening. Or if you're interested, that would be a place to go. It'd be really cool thinking of tying things together, of getting someone there, like contacting. So like, check it out. If we go to this meetup and you're in the meetup, you're going to see people, right? So Henry A. So if we clicked on Henry and say, hey, Henry, if you want to onboard people, then you can take this packet and get involved with the impact lead generation, or if they know about Catalyst, et cetera, like this is a great networking event for impact lead generators. That's all I'm saying. And that if we can support them in that would be cool. I did find some hosts, some people that we know, like Genti is going to be hosting. Will Etheridge of Origin Threads will be there. I don't know if he's going to host. I know Dylan is listed as attending the one in Brisbane, Australia. So this is kind of cool, and they have a very cool map. So this map shows, like, here's the Vancouver one. This is the one that Nori is attending. There's one in LA. And then you can kind of see like the time zones happen. There's a ton in, is that Ghana? Yeah, there's a ton in Ghana. That's cool. Code diary. Anyway, so that's the Impact Summit. Any ideas in Impact Summit?
Nothing.
I mean,
Right
I think
now.
that's a great idea. trying to tie, if I understood it right, trying to tie organizations or like groups to the summit or to other groups from Cardano, right?
Yep. I mean,
I think
it
that's
really
pretty cool.
happens. It happens at any conference. Basically what we're talking about is a conversation. A conversation, and conversations happen at conferences, and we want to inject, or we want to make sure that the climate crisis, the environmental movement, the wholeness or teal organizational movement uh, is happy, because I see those things as all being together. That those conversations are happening there, and however we can support people to have those conversations, to feel comfortable, like bringing up, for instance, teal organizations in a blockchain conference. It's just like we're dealing with a new innovative technology, and there's a new innovative organizational technology that comes along with that. It's called teal organizations. Have you heard about it? Come to the C4C to have a conversation about that. Come to Little Fish to have a conversation about that. Come to Project Catalyst, propose, be involved, and we're here to support you in having those conversations, getting those conversations out into a wider audience. Yeah.
I'm curious, do we know a timeline for Fund 10 already?
Good question. I wanted to look up the wonderful Friday announcements that Daniel puts out, and it looks like there was one on November 4th. That's last Friday. I think they've got a bunch of like reflection and like surveys going on. We did it a couple of weeks ago. So it says town halls are currently suspended.
What?
Yeah, current town halls aren't. They're not. I don't think there's a new town hall is not scheduled. So looks like they're not going to be
I
doing
think
that.
they're restructuring a lot of catalysts, to be honest, like from VCAs to VPAs, or PAs, I think they're called now. Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
they're kind of changing everything up, and think, yeah, there's just restructure pretty much.
yeah. I think that they are going to redo some things. They're doing the circle, and this might be a good time to start talking about the let's see, this would be talking about catalysts, and then pretty soon talking about the weekly meetup for us, because if they're not doing a town hall,
I think it's the third week in a row, no town hall.
yeah, that seems about right.
What's
But they've been doing the circle things. They've been doing
Mm,
these like circle candidate meetups.
it is pretty crazy though. In the last like 2 years I've been in the ecosystem, they've never had this long of a break from town halls. What's pretty
That's right.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true. Did you go to I thought those are really good.
the town halls.
With the candidates, hosted by Lloyd and Bullish Dumpling.
I unfortunately didn't make them, but yeah, no, it's been a little hard to make a lot of
For
the
sure,
weekly
for sure.
meetups lately, but
I think so. They're going to be doing on-chain voting with the drip drops, and so that's kind of a new thing.
that's really cool. I didn't realize that.
So voting with drip drops,
Drums.
which I guess they're just a group. I think it's just the name of their group and tool. I don't know if they've got a tool that they do with. Not
Yeah, they
certain.
do actually. So they created a tool where any Cardano wallet that stakes is able to like receive and withdraw like free tokens every epoch. And they also like partner with other groups who have their own tokens. So like if you're staked to a certain stake pool, then you can receive tokens from staking with them through drip drops. You're able to like I think you're able to do like a multiple token like drip, so you can like get cornucopias, like all these different tokens just for like the fee, the transaction fee, I believe.
Okay. That sort of sounds like the Sunday swap thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sunday swap in a way, but mostly just for token distribution. And
Yeah. Well, they had done like if you were staked at these certain stake pools, then you could get an airdrop of
mhm.
Sunday and some other, maybe it was just Sunday. Oh, but that's cool. Actually, that might be a good thing. That might be a good, like, what is drip drops? And thanks. That was a good sort of description.
Yeah, that was my best. They definitely do a little bit more than that. I know it's like Kyle Solomon from Frog Pool, if you know him.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
runs Adogia. Uh, Rick McCracken from Digipool also. And then quite a few other drip drop people. I think Bloompool is part of it too, and yeah, some other guys.
Well, and then and Lloyd is the one that I know most because he does that microgreens in Florida. That's kind of how I got to know him. Dutton,
Mhm.
Duhan.
Mhm.
Um, okay, cool. So that's the Catalyst Town Hall. And what, I want to look up the like other things like that so I mean, it would be cool to sort of look at the Catalyst Circle candidates and sort of, reach out to them and say, hey, look, again, to talk about what we feel are important issues about the climate, issues about like community support in Catalyst and in Cardano. And then really what I'm thinking of more of lately as organizational change, as like environmental change, because I feel like hierarchy and dominance or exploitive mindset propagates into organizations, and that you can change the mindset and change the organization, or you can change the organization and that changes the mindset. So it would be cool if we could say, hey, candidates, are you willing to work with, a sprint and advice model, or, how do you decentralize? Like, what are you going to be an authoritarian, or are you going to be, like which, how, how do they, not just what, but how they do leadership? Not to say there's anything wrong with being authoritarian, but I just think it doesn't scale as well in the new model. Actually, I have a lot of I have a few bones to fix with authoritarianism. I'm not down with it. Oh, look, here's a link for the Drip Drops team. I'm still sharing my screen. I think you guys see my screen.
No, we do
It's all
not
right.
actually.
Oh man, I thought I've been sharing my screen this whole time.
Oh, yeah, I've dug into the book a little more.
Reinventing
Sorry.
orgs. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I think, yeah, I think it's really, really interesting. If the things that are written in the book are true, then I'm very impressed. I would really like to, learn from those organizations or like try out some of the methods and see if they work or how
Yeah.
they work.
Well, yeah, we'll talk. Let's
About
talk
the
more about reinventing orgs, because I do think, and it is something that we're doing here in with our sprint planning uh things, which we're not really talking about sprint planning, which is something that we wanted to do.
Just
But
wanted to
what we
say
go
one more
ahead.
thing if you have a minute. So, about the circle, I feel like, doesn't doesn't Nori still lead the circle org admins or something? And
No,
he's
Yeah.
he
he
actually
doesn't?
stepped away from the circle. Because I, yeah, I think it's all right I'm saying this, but just he felt his time was better spent in other areas. And he was kind of like the mediator guy, and not a lot was getting done. And I think at least I don't know the full story, but something like that.
Sure. Um, But I think that they are restructuring it, and it
Yeah.
might come back around. I know that there's a group of admins that'll be taking that on, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it can be, simply because there's so much interest in it from the community. I mean, that was a lot, and they're doing it better, because it used to be they would get the swarm. They would go. It was like a Saturday swarm meeting, and everybody would vote after the swarm meeting. It was kind of ridiculous in a way. I was just like, no, that's not cool. But this is cooler. So, moving in the right direction. Speaking of moving in the right direction, what shall we, because I do like to give the Tuesday meeting some ideas for the Wednesday meetup. And I want to look at, let's share the screen. I want to look at our sprint. So I definitely think, so here we are in sprint planning, and tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to do story gathering and Wednesday meetup planning. So these were, I definitely think that we should continue to focus, copy, and continue to focus on C4C at the Cardano Summits. Even if it's just like drafting a form letter. So to use the story framework, as someone attending the local summit, I would like to be invited to understand some climate issues, or to be invited to a C4C event. But anyway, yeah, the goals for the summit, I think, could be the goals for the sprint could be the Cardano Summits. What was the last goal? Impact onboarding. I kind of feel like the goals could be the same. And we really didn't do much about the Fund 7 and 8 accounting. So I think we could just use the same goals. The idea here is to unblock, like, our overarching sort of goal this week is to unblock and adjust course. So we're in this kind of 1-2 sprint, week 1 and week over the month is to unblock and adjust course. So what do we need to unblock about these goals here? With like with Cole, for instance, like, what do you need to unblock and adjust course? And you already kind of said that with your onboarding. You're like, okay, we'll try to make it more concise, more fun, less boring.
Yeah. I feel like what we kind of just as a blocker is kind of making it more, yeah, like you said, more fun and entertaining, and kind of a little more simplified, so that even we felt that our content was a little bit more towards like the everyday Cardano community member, where we need to kind of take a step back, slow it down a little bit, and like, if we're trying to introduce this to new people in the ecosystem, then we kind of have to say like what blockchain is, like some really simplified like concepts, just so that they are like introduced to blockchain, and then we can kind of dive into the whole Cardano ecosystem a little bit more.
Yep.
So who is at the summit in Switzerland, at the main summit?
So we've got, I mean, that's a great question. This
I will be there as well.
What? You go to
Yeah,
Europe?
I think I am. Yeah. Yeah, I just got my ticket the other day actually. So yeah, I'm sending it. And
nice.
yeah, so I'm gonna meet Yoram in person. I might be staying with him. I'm not fully sure yet. But yeah, no, I'm super excited.
So I know
Sounds
that
cool.
Sean is also going. His ticket got canceled, but then he got redo. But these are the folks that were going. Michaela, or Michelle, is he's going, and I think he is one of the speakers. He got voted in as a speaker.
Yeah, so
Um,
I wanted to go there, but Yoram never wrote me back, so I think I might just stay here because probably the flights are getting pretty expensive by now and the hotels as well. So
Definitely hit Yoram back up, but he was gone like the last week and a half on vacation, and it was a little hard to get in touch with him. So uh I bet he didn't mean to not write back or anything.
yeah, for sure. Oh, and it doesn't, you could go to one in Poland or Berlin. I don't know how far. Wiesbaden might be a little closer to Vienna.
yeah, I mean it's all pretty much the same.
Yeah. But then there's virtual events, that's kind of what my plan is to do virtual stuff. Um, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can do them together.
Yeah, I think that would be I think, because what the local events are about is I think a lot of them are like watch parties of the live stream from the main event. With some extra things attached. So yeah, I mean, we'll have a little watch party from wherever. It's just gonna be a big fun weekend for the whole thing. So it might be nice, like in our weekly meeting, like what are you doing? What are you doing for the summit? Who's going? Who's going where? Uh,
That's
uh,
great, yeah.
I think that would be a big thing. The other like get involved with the sprint, because this is generally where we open it up to sort of public. We publicize it, get involved with the sprint, would be a cool like call to action, and discuss the sprint goals and tasks. And then, so that's the what. That's the what. And then the how is DeWork, because a lot of people don't know DeWork. I kind of forgot about that. I was just like, oh yeah, it's still like opaque or kind of difficult to go through. DeWork intro, getting a wallet address in there. Sprint, Summit. Oh, and onboarding. How are we doing? How's that packet, Cole? Like if someone is new there, either to Cardano, to climate action, um, like do we have something to give to them?
Yeah, I do have a packet. It's definitely needs a little bit of work, but it's like this is what we gave the other day for the impact onboarding. Um,
Because that would be cool. Like it's just like, okay, here, and then, and it doesn't have to be, there's this concept. Oh, here's a concept, hashtag concept, hashtag principle. Complete but never finished. Complete but never finished. So a seed is complete. It's a complete seed. It's doing exactly what a seed is supposed to do. It's not a big ass oak tree. It's not even a seedling, but it's a complete seed. And it just sort of, it's a nod to evolutionary iterative development. So if we could get a complete, not finished, but just a complete, something that will suffice, even if it's just a placeholder, it just says, oh, here's this packet, and you can download the latest version from here. But this is a PDF that will give you. And I think I saw you. That's why I'm asking you for it, because I know that you did this already.
yeah, I just dropped it in the chat, the link to it, and you should be able to pull it up just by clicking on it. And I'd say it's a good placeholder. Um, maybe we make one more just focused on C4C, but
Be cool.
but
Yep.
um, but yeah, no, I think it's a good placeholder for now at least.
Okay, cool.
Because we do have like next steps before Fund 10, wallets and voting in Project Catalyst, how to register to vote, impact lead generator, impact onboarding, additional resources like impact statistics, Intro to Cardano, Catalyst Guide. Yeah, so we have a lot of good resources, I'd say,
Nice.
to start.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then, you know, once, I don't know, I'm just looking through the chat and it talks about Blockchain Learning Center and like leveraging our partners. Now that sounds like kind of like corporate weirdo speak, but just like working with our partners and being like, oh yeah, like we all want the same things, right? And it's just like, oh yeah. And David Baxter is super cool. All of the people that we work with, Little Fish, super cool. I really like the gang at Cardano, Climate Neutral Cardano. I'm looking forward to their event on Thursday. Okay, so I feel like we've got a few talking points for the weekly meeting. You know, what are we doing for the summit? How to get involved with sprints, onboarding. Here's an onboarding packet. In the interest of YouTube and people listening, we want to express some appreciation. Of course, I want to express appreciation for Cole and Simon for being here and allowing me to facilitate and run through this.
Right
But
back
then
at you.
also, what's that?
Right back at you.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. But then also for the people that are listening on YouTube, man, thank you for spending this time with us. I don't know, maybe you're driving or maybe making breakfast or something, but it's just been the three of us here and you talking about these issues, which we think are really important. So important that we're willing to give our time and effort and energy to put this out and to make it available to you. So please like and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Join us at our other media channels like on Telegram and Discord. Come and see us in Catalyst. Look for us, engage with us. We're happy, friendly humans. And with that being said, I will say goodbye to everyone listening in on YouTube. Okay, bye y'all.